Humans, they always fight. Fighting for the glory of their lands, fighting for the life of their king, fighting for the embracement of their beliefs. Fighting because they're greedy enough wanting to conquer the whole world. Fighting with their dogs trying to get the ball back. Or even two kids fighting at school over a bag of chips they'll never get to taste because guess what? Chips are banned on their soul scans. Hello everyone, this is Deadliest and welcome to another video of Enlightenment's 10 lists. Humans indeed always fight, but unfortunately, some barbaric brutal conflicts can arise, wiping out millions of lives. Keep your heads up as we uncover today the top 10 deadliest wars in human history. Number 10. Dungan Revolt. Under the reign of the Qing Dynasty over China back in 1862, a Muslim group over there called the Hui people, aka the Dungans, attempted a revolt trying to establish a new Muslim country along the banks of the Yellow River. However, the generals of the Qing Dynasty intervened, stopping the rebellion, but I guess it was a little bit too late. The failed rebellion costed an estimate of 10 million lives from the year 1862 to the year 1877. Coming up next at number 9 is An Lushan Rebellion. An Lushan was a powerful general in the Chinese Empire back during the Tang Dynasty. Although he already had 3 key provinces under his command, his urge for power drove him to proclaim himself as an emperor and led a rebellion in a failed attempt to overthrow and replace the Tang Dynasty. During his failed attempts from the year 755 to the year 763, he is to be blamed for the deaths of about 13 million lives. Number 8. World War I. This brutal conflict was between Germany, Austria, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire on one side, fighting against the Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Japan, and the United States on the other side. The war occurred from the year 1914 to the year 1918, when the Germans finally decided to surrender and peace treaties were signed. It took them 4 years to realize how much damage and destruction they've brought all over the world, along with the estimated cost of 16 million lives. Coming up next at number 7 is another failed Chinese rebellion that costed millions of lives. The Taiping Rebellion. Cult-like Christian group following a self-proclaimed prophet named Hong Xiquan attempted a failed revolt against the Qing Dynasty back in 1850. The revolt was too strong that the British and French forces had to intervene, finally ending the rebellion and restoring the order of the Qing Dynasty. The rebellion took place for over a decade from the year 1850 to 1864, taking down an estimate of 20 million people with it. At number 6, we have the Second Seno Japanese War. The Second Seno was one of the most brutal wars across history. It all started in 1937 when the Japanese forces invaded China. The Japanese forces were better trained and more technologically advanced than their Chinese counterparts. The Japanese troops were too brutal and inhumane to an extent that they raped, buried alive, and even experimented on the Chinese civilians, injecting them with multiple diseases. The Chinese people did in fact endure a lot over the centuries. Anyways, this brutal war was ended in 1945 after the United States dropped nuclear weapons on Hiroshima and Nagaski, as well as the Russian troops who invaded from the north, stopping the Japanese forces in Manchuria. The Japanese forces then thankfully surrendered after the loss of 20 million lives. Now let's move to number 5, the Manchu Conquest of China, also called as the Ming to Qing transition. The Qing Dynasty was first established by a clan called the Manchu people, a combination of Mongols and Jurchens. Back then, the Ming Dynasty, who held control over most of China, was already suffering from multiple rebellions, along with the droughts and famine caused by the Little Ice Age. We'll get to that later. Anyways, the Qing Dynasty revolted, putting an end to the Ming Dynasty, along with the rebel powers that were trying to emerge. It took the Qing Dynasty decades to take control over China, from 1618 to 1683 to be specific, and the estimated lives of 25 million people. Up next, taking number 4 is another bloody Chinese war. Actually, it's rhyming. Up next, taking number 4 is another bloody Chinese war named the Three Kingdoms War. For 96 continuous years, 3 Han Dynasty states of Wei, Shu, and Wu fought each other over China. This bloodbath continued from the year 184 up until the year 180, leading to the fall of the Han Dynasty and the rise of the Qing Dynasty, along with the estimated loss of 38 million lives. Ouch! Actually, a game was released back in 2019 and total war, I guess. Now, before we head up to the top 3 deadliest wars of all time, I'd like to express my sincere apologies for the millions of lives that were lost, especially in China. You lovely Chinese people endured a lot over the centuries, but I guess, on the bright side, you are going to take over the world with the emergence of the 5G networks. What do you think about that? Tell me down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos appearing every week. Now, speaking of China, let's move to number 3. At number 3, we have one of the scariest and fearful armies of all time. For 199 years, they conquered a huge part of the world. They could travel huge distances in a very short time. They spared the lives of engineers acquiring their skills. As women heard they were coming, they immediately killed themselves, afraid of being raped, butchered, or butchered after being raped. Some even blamed them for the spread of disease across Europe, leading to the Black Death. I'm talking about the invasions and conquests of the Mongol Empire. The Mongol Empire was the largest empire in history, hosting more than 25% of the Earth's population at that time. Wow! It emerged after several Asian tribes decided to unify under the leadership of the famous Genghis Khan from the year 1206 up until the year 1405. The Mongol army was scattered, invading the globe in an attempt to take over the world. They caused the deaths of over 40 million people. It feels that human beings didn't have even any sense of humanity back then. Thanks God we weren't alive. At number 2, too many people were wiped out to an extent that the global temperature dropped worldwide. It was called the era of global cooling, or the Little Ice Age. Why this phenomenon happened? Well, the sudden vast decline of the human population caused a massive rise in the number of unmanaged green lands, vastly dropping the levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because of the increased photosynthesis. And carbon dioxide helps trap the heat in the atmosphere, keeping Earth warm. So I guess that's why. Anyways, the event we're talking about is the European colonization of America, following Christopher Columbus's arrival in North America back in 1492. The colonization of America took 108 years up until the year 1600. During that time, the Native Americans suffered from wars, famine, and even diseases coming from the colonizers as measles and smallpox. Over 55 million lives were taken, which resembled 90% of the Native American population and 10% of the overall world population back at that time. That's a huge number. Well, take care, my fellow Americans. You may have 55 million ghosts haunting your lands looking for revenge. What do you think about that? Tell me down below. Now it's time for the deadliest war in history. Germany, Italy, Japan, France, Great Britain, the United States, the Soviet Union, China, Canada, Cuba, India, Iraq, Egypt. I can keep going on forever, cause nearly every country in the globe participated in World War II. The war remained for 6 years and 1 day, from the year 1939 to the year 1945, taking down an estimate of 85 million lives. Will this thankfully be the last World War, or is World War III already knocking on our doors? Tell me below what you think. I know you're mad, I'm mad too, but we're humans after all, we always fuck things up. You know what? Let me give you a quick riddle to cool down the tension. I eat up lands and nearly everything I touch. The more I'm fed, the more powerful I grow. What am I? Answer down below for a chance to win a brand new 2020 imaginary island in an imaginary place that never existed. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you like the video, and make sure you subscribe for weekly new content at Enlightenment. Thank you everyone, this was Elias, see you next week.